observations about cultivating your self are like being limited by your own mental space, which exists right now, and knowing that it is the way it is, that it's limited to constraints of time and space of where you are right now, and how it can loop back into the corridors of your mind and your memory, how it relates and how it can retrieve the exact memory that you are retrieving, how it chooses that, how it's able to retrieve that one and not other ones. This is what makes up the self. This makes up us, and we are shaped by our environment and our like what we take in immediately. So like what you eat, what you drink, what you listen to, who you're around, like what you talk about, what thoughts you have. These are so what you see, like where you are physically in space, like in what city or town or physical locality. These are all the inputs to you as a computation machine or a state machine. Also, you have your own thoughts, which feed back into themselves as a feedback cycle, and you have your own sets of goals, desires, things that you're looking out for, maybe longings, maybe you're thinking of some memory and trying to capture that spirit of what you felt then and how you were, and you want to hold on to it, and maybe like you feel like that is like a good state. Maybe that can cause you to be attached to it, because being in this flow of unceasing infinite sensation phenomenon, inputs and outputs, you feel that there's an infinite variety, and so there's this longing for a previous state of mind, which is unreachable. And now, as you are learning, as you are a programmer, if you are a programmer, then you are able to practice this very rigorous kind of thinking. It's like contemplation, it's like reading, it's like a deep trance where, except in this case, you're creating kind of a set of logical steps, which are a mini brain that behaves like a human, where it has steps and has loops and conditionals. Now, the question is like, what do you pursue? What do you cultivate? The question is, how do you attain wisdom? How do you shape yourself? How do you hold on to objectives? How do you hold on to methods, tools? How do you wield the tools that you have? And perhaps the tools that we have are the real kind of points that are constant in this flow of life. The points that are constant are the tools that are like our navigational tools. Essentially, like they are like our wheels. There are rudder, steering. perhaps tools are feedback mechanisms. As they change, tools are feedback mechanisms in the sense that we have input about some condition of the world, and when we output something like an act, like left leg or right leg, or this word or this sentence, and this becomes an act, and then that changes the state of the world, and that feeds back into the input into us. And then again, we take that second step, we write that second paragraph with the pen, we make that second stroke of the keyboard, that write that second line of code, and then that changes again the world, and so on, as a feedback mechanism. So these tools are feedback mechanisms. And tapping. I need some tapping because I was like sitting down for too long, and now I'm running, but I'm taking a break from the run. What else? So about like the artist's way, and like this idea of like cultivating the inner child to the artist, and like being able to take care of it just as if you were a child or an animal, that you have to like create the conditions for it to be healthy, to grow. So it's kind of like, or like a plant or a garden, like you are the gardener of your own soul and your own being. And how do you learn to become better at that? And you use tools in order to do this. Like you use the language, writing. These are memory aids, augmenting your memory with video logs, with journals, with morning pages, with drawings, with your art, whatever your kind of art is. In my case, I believe I consider my art being my programming. I consider my programming to be my art, to create applications. And so now I have to like be honest with myself, like how am I really producing apps? Am I really producing code? And like, do I like really take it seriously? Do I then like seek out feedback and apply changes and like iterate? Do I like continue trying to improve, and like do I continue like outputting things? This is like this is like covered in the artist's way, about how it's often like writers or something, they call themselves writers, but then they don't really practice writing. They just write like a little bit, but like if you're a writer, you need to be like writing every day, because that's like what you are doing, and like you just like take care of handling the quantity, and letting the world just handle the quality, the universe or God, whatever, handle the quality. In closing, in short, to summarize, this vlog has been about like an exploration of how consciousness is like a tunnel, as a kind of a corridor of like, we just have this little space of our memory, of our working memory, of like references to our past and like of our goals. And so like that's where we exist, that's the space we exist in right now, and it's always now, and it's never static, and it's never like you can go back to a previous state, even though you may feel nostalgic about it and feel like maybe it was like a happy state, but now it's like, no, it's always changing. And secondly, about being an artist and being able to nourish the inner artist by like the inner child, which is like the artist, which is like comparable, analogous to like a pet or like an animal that you have to like take care of, or like a garden that you need to take care of in order for it to grow and flourish. So that requires like conscious effort, like taking yourself seriously.